Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening to everyone who is joining us from the East Coast. Good afternoon to those of you who are on the West Coast, and probably a few of you at least coming to us live from locations even further afield. And so I'm not sure if it's morning, noon, or night, but we're glad to have you all here. We're going to give it just 1 or 2 more minutes before we jump in. We did have nearly 200 people register for this Zoom. So kind of knowing the percentages of registered to attendees, my guess is that we could get close to 100 or 100 plus folks joining us this evening. So just let's give it one moment and we will jump in. We're glad to see everyone. I'm coming to you live from the corners of Olive, Angel, and Brown Streets here in beautiful Providence, Rhode Island, just a block from the main green, where the weather today is slightly autumnal in its kind of a bit of an autumnal preview, I would say, in a very wonderful, wonderful way. So let's just give it a brief moment. I'm glad to see so many folks joining us from all around. Some of you have seen recently, some we haven't met. It's a pleasure. And I think that for the sake of time, I'm going to get started. So welcome everyone again. My name is Rabbi Josh Bolton. I'm the executive director here at Brown RISD Hillel. And I am more than pleased to welcome you all for this session and to co-host it with my very special and close colleagues and friends, Rabbi Mendel and Chani Laufer of Chabad of College Hill. And folks who know a little bit about our geography and our system here know that not only are we close colleagues in terms of programmatics and that we're thinking together, but we're also close colleagues in that we're physical neighbors. I can shout from my office and Mendel can hear me on the other side of Olive Street if I ever needed to. Only good things. So we want to jump in tonight. Just a couple of notes. If you have questions that you'd like to have brought to any of us tonight, you can enter them into the chat. The questions are going to go to myself and to Molly Goldmeyer, our managing director here, and we'll make sure that we're able to filter them to those of us who are speaking. And I am recording this session, so I do plan to share it afterwards with everyone who attended, so you can send it out to your friends and colleagues out there in the world. You know, I think that folks who know me and who have had the chance to connect with me over the past few years know that I am particularly drawn to that very Jewish dialectic between joy and oi, right? This is a very Jewish reality, to see the world in moments of joy and to recognize the moments of oi. And oftentimes it's not one or the other, but of course we find them, both in the same. And in fact, of course, just last week we commemorated the 9th day of the month of Av, which is really the penultimate day of Oi in the Jewish calendar, a day that we acknowledge and commemorate the destruction of the temples, the expulsion from Spain, and many, many other terrible things in our history. But one piece of Torah that I've always found very, very meaningful and to the point here is that, there's a tradition that on the 9th of Av, the Mashiach or the Messiah or the potential for redemption is born. And in fact, I think that from our perspective, sitting here on campus, acknowledging the many challenges, we also very much feel that this is a time of great opportunity and possibility on campus, and we want to share with you a little bit of that tonight. Well, I always like to begin and end with joy. So, just on the point of joy, if you look around at the constellation of elements that surround us, whether it's the student community here on this hill, and all of the outstanding skills and passions and leadership characteristics that they bring. The staff of Jewish professionals at BRH and at Chabad, and the way that we've grown that staff over the past summer. Our physical location here, and I don't just mean our location here at 80 Brown Street, but also our location and our proximity to our partners in the administration and to our relationships with the university, the ways in which the university is investing in the growth of life, the opening of the kosher kitchens, and finally, the community, you all that surround us. I think that we all feel very, very confident that the elements are always in place for joy to be the primary mover of Jewish life here. I want to acknowledge right out of the beginning the place of Oy, and I want to acknowledge that I fully anticipate, I think that we fully expect that the coming opening of the semester is going to be much more of the same of what we experienced last year. I think that we should anticipate and expect that. And my hope is that, in the midst of all of the challenges, we're going to be able to, through our strengths and through what we have built and put into place, be able to shape a Jewish year that is really unlike any other in recent memory and past. I'll share a few more kind of high-level insights about how we have prepared for the coming year. I want to hand it over to my colleague, Rabbi Mendel Laufer and Chani, who, this is the start of their 23rd year on campus. And so the kind of collective wisdom and spirit that the two of them have is something that is of great consequence for us today. And so, Mendel, I just want to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Rabbi Josh, for very, very warm words. And yes, we're starting our 23rd year here on campus. I took a quick peek at some of the attendees, and I saw some of the alumni from over the years who've been by us, and of the parents that are here. Thank you all for joining. Josh mentioned some of the challenges that we expect based on the previous year, and he will elaborate on some of the initiatives taken to be ahead of the game, so to speak. But from our experience here at the Chabad House and engaging the students for many years, there's nothing greater than strengthening the students from within to be able to face the challenges as they walk across campus. Because there's always challenges, and if you put one down over here and something else pops up over here, and then you have to deal with that and something else comes up over here. But when we build the strength, we build the confidence, we build the conviction, we build a sense of Jewish pride, strength of comfortability and strength in Jewish identity and Jewish peoplehood and what we're here for and what it means for us, we're able to face the challenges in a much more joyful way, as you mentioned, and we're able to face the challenges in a way that it doesn't threaten us and it doesn't shake us, so to speak, and we're able to grow and build as a community. The community here has seen tremendous growth in recent years, tremendous engagement from the students, tremendous engagement from the parents, from the alumni, and it's a tremendous blessing to see that. And we look forward to building on that and encouraging, strengthening the students and continuing a very joyful, joyous Jewish experience here on campus, despite some of the challenges that we might face. And we're very excited for that in the coming year. So thank you, Josh, and handing it back to you to hear some of the more practical details.
I don't know practical, but I appreciate everyone who registered, sent a number of questions in to us in advance, and it was so interesting and perhaps not surprising, the questions that we received. But I wanted to begin with this question because this is, again, I hope you don't feel like we're harping too much on this, but the question that we received was, how are you preparing for another semester that will likely involve more unrest and harassment of Jewish students? But I want everyone on this call to know that, for BRH and Chabad, we are not only anticipating a semester of unrest and harassment, we also believe that the coming semester will likely involve huge opportunities for Jewish growth, a flood of student creative energy, and a surge of Jewish engagement. That's what we have seen over the past several years. That's what we have seen since October, in spite of every challenge. And that's what we are anticipating and planning for for the semester to come. Some of the things that we have done, though, to prepare for both the joys and the oys that we anticipate, I outlined some of this in an email to the community last week. I'm happy to kind of give high level, and then Molly and others are going to dig a little bit deeper. But we have staffed up. We have added 4 new professionals to the Hillel staff team over the summer, including 2 new positions that didn't exist in the previous year. Molly's going to introduce and talk a little bit more about that. We've invested in new programs and new initiatives, whether it is mentorship, the arts, global travel, Jewish learning, spirituality. Almost every single kind of element of our Jewish community and Jewish programmatic life has been invested in and will be growing in the season to come. We are obviously making plans to bring students together, both to celebrate and to commemorate. I note, and we'll learn more about it, Olive Street Shabbat will be this will be our 2nd annual Olive Street Shabbat, bringing Chabad and BRH together on, I believe it is September 20th, I want to say. We expect hundreds of students to come together to celebrate Jewish unity. And also, we're planning commemorations. Our plans are emerging for our commemoration of the October 7th tragedy and many ways in which we're going to mark that on campus and beyond campus. We are supporting student leaders in very, very specific ways, and I'm grateful that James Kaplan, member of the Board of Trustees, is on our call this evening, along with 2 really outstanding student leaders, Leah and Brooke, who are going to talk about how they have prepared or are preparing to resist the divestment vote that is going to be taking place in October. We have dialed up security and training. I don't want to get into kind of the specifics of this. It's not recommended that last time I told all of the details of our security, and then a security consultant said, maybe you shouldn't do that. But I just wanted to let you know that both on the level of human resources and the level of, let's say, hardening the infrastructure of our buildings and our facilities, we have upped our security game. We are engaged in a lot of contingency planning around numbers of potential situations that might happen. And lastly, we remain in strong collaboration with the administration and with our faculty. I was just on a thread earlier today with Russell Carey, who has stepped in to serve as the Vice President for Campus Life, and with President Paxson. And, I don't have a lot that I want to share this evening in terms of what the university itself is doing to prepare. I didn't want to speak for the university, but I want you to know that we are working closely with them. And I want everyone to know that we will hold the university accountable for enforcing the rules that it establishes, and for setting a cultural expectations around what type of culture we want to be having here as an academic institution. I'm going to stop my share for a moment. And again, if you have questions that you want to ask, you can put them into the chat and it'll get channeled to us. I want to pass it to Molly Goldmeyer, who is Brown RISD Hillel's managing director. And in her role, she oversees basically the entire operation around Jewish life here. And I know that Molly wants to give us a little bit of a snapshot of the opening of the semester here. And I hope I did that correctly. I think I just spotlighted Molly. Did I do that correct?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Josh. Hi, everyone. My name is Molly Goldmeyer. If I haven't met you yet, just want to introduce myself and give you a little bit of a soundbite about what I do here on campus. I'm really happy to be here tonight talking to you about my work and about the impact that we're going to be having this fall and spring. So what I do a day-to-day for me is working very closely with students and with our staff team to organize the programming, the initiatives, student life, and ensure that all of the programming that we do reflects the diverse interests of our students on campus and feels relevant and resonant to what our students care about and are thinking about. And our team is really obsessed with getting to know the students and getting to know what they're passionate about and giving them a platform to do everything that they came to Brown and to RISD and to JWU to do. So it's really a pleasure to be a part of the student's life in this way. And I want to give you a little bit of insight into what this semester will look like from a programming perspective. Awesome. Thank you, Josh. We could go ahead to the next slide. So firstly, we are so excited to welcome the class of 2028 and transfer students next week on Wednesday. So a week from today, we'll be welcoming the new class, and we are jam-packed with a slate full of programs for students to get to know each other, get to know our staff, get to know the Jewish community, and to really feel like Brown RISD Hill is a home for them. And so we're starting with bagels. We've got a really awesome and vibrant Shabbat. We have a welcome barbecue, and I know Chabad is also hosting a huge welcome barbecue next week too. So the students will have their fair share of hot dogs and hamburgers, and they'll get to meet everyone. We've got s'mores, we've got ice cream. We're going to take the students on a beach trip to get to know the beautiful ocean state that we have here. And we're really excited to culminate our weeks of welcome with a massive Shabbat dinner hosted between Chabad and Hillel. And that will be an invitation that's open to the entire campus community. So we're really expecting to be, maxing out our social hall space and spilling over into our courtyard and our terrace and filling the building with wonderful positive energy and really showing the students the strength of Jewish community here. And here on this photo is a photo of our new staff packing welcome gifts for the freshman class. So hopefully anybody out there in the class received a gift and a postcard from our team, but we are really, really excited to welcome everyone next week. And just want to give you kind of some insight on some other programs that are coming up. So just like last year, we'll be doing, we'll be hosting a lot of programs that are related to the climate on campus. Just want to name a few of them. We're going to be hosting, as Josh mentioned, in partnership with the Chabad, an event marking the 1 year since October 7th. So this is scheduled, of course, on October 7th, and it will be a full day of commemorating and honoring the lives that were lost and the tragedy that occurred. And it will start in the morning with a morning minyan. We have a daily minyan here, and so we'll have a morning minyan with Kaddish in the morning, and the day will wrap up with a community-wide vigil on the main green. So for anyone in Providence, we would love for you to be a part of that event, and more information will be coming out about that. We're also going to be continuing to send our students, like we did last year, on volunteer missions to Israel. So we're going to be sending a cohort in the winter and also in the spring. And this is something that we piloted last year. We sent a group of 36 students to volunteer and bear witness. And it was a really meaningful and transformative experience. And we're looking forward to building on that this year. Next, just want to give some other highlights of the semester. We're going to have a big presence on our RISD campus. So that's going to start with the annual block party. We're going to have a Brown RISD Hill presence there with our staff member, Deborah, who runs the arts initiative here on campus. Like I mentioned, Chabad is hosting a big welcome barbecue next Thursday. We're really looking forward to that. We also have a dialogue workshop that we're going to be hosting for students to come together across difference. So this will be a workshop where we bring in an external facilitator to work with students about how to understand and articulate how they have shaped their lenses through which they see the world and through they see this climate, and to begin having those hard conversations with each other. This is something that we felt like last year we really wanted to build upon. So that will be in the first month of the semester. Also just want to soft launch a few other experiences that we're having, immersive experiences that we're having. So we'll be sending a cohort of students to New York for an arts trip. So this will be for arts-focused students, both at RISD, Brown, and also JWU, to get to meet artists in their studios, learn about Jewish creatives in the city, and begin growing their professional network. And we're really excited this year to pilot a global experience to Argentina in January. And so we're really excited to take a group of students there to learn about the Jewish history, learn about Judaism abroad, and to really just create strong and strong community here. And so lastly, I just want to share that, as Josh mentioned, we are so blessed to welcome 4 new staff members on our team this year. This is a really exciting moment of growth for our organization. And so we are welcoming Mika, Addie, Yael, and Mickey. And Addie and Mickey are in roles that we've had through Hill International. And we have 2 new positions this year that are new to Brown RISD Hill and also new to the movement. And so Yael Reisman is our Israel Fellow. So she just moved here a few weeks ago. Oh, awesome. She just moved here probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago from Renana and Ashkelon. And so she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. And we're so excited to have Yael on our team to be bringing, an influence of Israeli culture here on campus and to be working to support students. And this is something in the 5 years that I've been here that we've never had an Israel Fellow on campus. And so we're really pumped to have her in this role. So Yael, can I ask you to unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the community here?
Yes, okay, am I unmuted? Okay.
You are.
Shalom everyone, I am Yael Reisman. I got here, like Molly said, around 3 weeks ago from Israel. I am extremely excited, first and foremost, to be here, to have this opportunity. Really, that I've started meeting with some of the students, some of the organization leaders. Such amazing people, interesting and passionate, and I am so excited to meet all of them and to be able to support them and to be there for them for everything that is related to Israel. If it's about organizations related to Israel like BSI, if it's trips that are meant to go to Israel, questions about the situation, and also not about the situation, to remind and להדגיש.
Emphasize.
And to emphasize that Israel is so much more than the situation right now. It is culture, it is beauty, it is so many things that I love and want to share with all of the students. And I am super excited to be able to do that this year.
Thank you so much, Al. We are so excited to have you here, and I hope everyone, on this call will get the chance to meet Al at some point throughout the year. We're really excited to kick this off very soon. And I also want to introduce Mika Aviad, who is our coordinator for mentorship and networking. And so just so everyone knows, this is a new position that actually doesn't exist anywhere else in the movement. We're the first Hillel to have a position like this. So Mika will tell you a little bit about what she's going to be doing. And we're also so excited to have her here with us.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Mika, the new mentorship and networking coordinator, new to Brown RISD Hillel, but not new to the movement. I just finished a couple years at Boston University Hillel, and I'm super excited to be continuing my Jewish professional journey here at Brown RISD Hillel. Super excited to be harnessing all the energy from the community, from parents, from alumni that want to get involved on campus. Super excited to connect students to all of you. I'm sure Molly and Josh will say more, but if anyone is interested in connecting with me, I would love that.
Thank you, Mika. Well, I will send through the website so you can connect with all of our staff and kind of see how to get in touch. And I'm going to pass it back to you, Josh, to continue the conversation.
Oh my gosh, let's see if I can get myself back spotlighted here. Thanks. So thank you, Molly. And I got to tell everyone, this is the start of my 6th year here on campus, and the sound of a full staff team getting excitedly ready for the students to return is something really very, very special. And I cannot really overemphasize the extent to which students should look forward to meeting this group. And I really believe that come what will, that the combination of students' energy and optimism and the attitude and eagerness of our professional staff is going to mean that Jewish life will be healthy and strong and vibrant and vital. And that's not going to insulate us from everything, but I do think it's going to protect us from a great deal and protect our hearts and our souls. Now, I did mention that one of the pieces that we have been doing in preparation for this coming year is we have been working with Jewish student leaders, many of whom are leaders in Brown Students for Israel, to prepare for the coming corporation vote on divestment and the ACRM committee process that will take place just before. And students have the opportunity to weigh in, as well as the community more generally. And I have seen some recent examples of really outstanding faculty notes and letters and briefs that have been sent to the committee. But it's been really inspirational to work with a group of students who have just shown up, have brought their everything. And I really think that what they are producing and how they have positioned themselves is it's going to be what is responsible for the inevitable voting down of divestment in October by the university. And so I want to invite them to share a little bit about what they have been up to. And I want to welcome Leah Koritz and Brooke Verschleiser to be spotlighted. And I also would love to invite a member of the Brown RISD Hillel Board of Trustees, James Kaplan, who has been working with students in this process to join us. And maybe I'll first hand it over to Brooke and Leah to just tell us a little bit about how you all are preparing for this moment and what you would want this community to know. Go for it.
Amazing. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Brooke. I'm the president of Brown Students for Israel, and as well as the board, what we colloquially call it. And so to prepare for this semester, we've been putting together a lot of different events. We already have a jam-packed calendar for October, which we're super excited about, as well as, planning just like fun events for everyone, bracelet making, make your own sushi. So we're really excited for that. And then on the more political end, we've been working really hard on this document over this summer to ACRM and ultimately the corporation regarding the divestment. And so it's 35 pages strong, over 100 footnotes. I see a couple people on this call who have been on the document making really helpful suggestions and edits. So thank you all for that. And we're getting ready and excited to submit it and then present it as well to ACRM before the vote.
Yeah, hey, it's James here. I would just like to add two things, one of which I can't say enough about how Brooke, Leah, and several other students have really put a lot of time into this and how thoughtful they have been, how factual they've been in making the arguments, and how measured their tone has been. I think it's now put that they should be really, really proud of and speaks well about them and about the Jewish community as a whole associated with Brown University. And I think they make an incredibly strong case, first off, about how the Brown Divest Coalition has met absolutely none of the criteria for the corporation for ACRM to recommend. The corporation have consider divesting and have made an incredibly powerful moral case about why this would be a very harmful thing for the university and how it would send exactly the wrong set of signals to the rest of the world. So bravo to Brooke and Leah and a bunch of other students.
Go ahead, Leah.
Hi, thank you. So I'm Leah, and I was just going to talk a little bit about the Stand With Us Emerson Fellowship, which I'm a part of this semester. And this year it's with Stand With Us, which is a Israel advocacy organization. So I'm working to bring Israel events, Israel education, and kind of just, there's a lot of people that aren't super involved, but like if you see two sides and you think, oh, and one side is marketing themselves as the moral side, and you don't know anything about Israel and Zionism, you can learn that there's nuance and that there's a home for you all kind of on the pro-Israel side as well. And that's kind of what I've been working towards and trying to promote and create events that are going to get people involved and oppose the divestment. And as well, there's kind of just keeping the general morale high among the Jewish community and the pro-Israel community, because it's very difficult to feel fractured and kind of alone these days when there's protests and things you might not feel the most comfortable with. But having a strong Jewish community, which Chabad and Hillel have fostered, has definitely been helpful and countering the divestment efforts. So, yeah.
And, one thing that I might add and share to Brooke, Leah, and James is that, there really is a large collaborative network of organizations that are working to support students around this issue on campus, whether or not that is Israel on Campus Coalition, Stand With Us. I'm going to blank on all of them right now, but and tomorrow there's actually a coalition call for all of those partners that I'll be attending. So there's just a tremendous amount of resources and energy being put into this moment, and I think that I'm confident that the motion will not be passed. But I think that that's not really the point here. I think that this is an opportunity for students to demonstrate leadership and for the community to have an opportunity to articulate a sense of values and priorities that will be that will set a standard for the national kind of conversation going forward. James? Hold on, go ahead.
I think that point about the national conversation is an incredibly important one. Abby Dorff, who I think is also on the call, pointed out that what Brooke and Leah and the rest of the students have put together is much more sophisticated than even what some of the national organizations have pulled together about why divestment is wrong and harmful for universities. And so there's a chance that all the amazing work that they've done may be used at other institutions and by Jewish groups at other institutions in a way that could potentially be helpful.
Brooke, Leah, any other comments that you all like to share with the folks? I know, actually, there's a question that came in that I think is a good question for the two of you. And it goes something like this. How would you advise first-year students who have random roommates to navigate the Israel-Palestine dialogue and the complexities that can kind of come out of that? I think that you all are much better suited to answer that than anyone else on the call.
Brooke, do you want to start? Oh, yeah.
Sure. I would say honestly, it was a big fear of mine coming into college as well. And I definitely came in at a different moment and a different culture in terms of Israel dialogue on campus. But I would say for the most part, the reality is most people on campus don't really care. They like find all of us annoying. They're like, can everyone just be quiet, like, and let us have like a college experience? Most people on campus just want to like party and get good grades and hang out with friends. They don't really care about any of this and don't really know what's happening. So, there are definitely some exceptions. You could get paired with someone who you may not agree with personally, but, at the end of the day, you're not forming a coalition government, you're just living together. So,
And Leah, have you kind of anecdotally heard stories or examples of folks who, like, at first thought might have problems living together, but in the end, there's something that kind of enables them to find kind of a meeting ground?
Yeah, something that I would say, because I came in, like I was a freshman last year, so I kind of had my whole friend group switch up a little bit when the war started. And something that kind of stuck out to me was that people are very vocal about this. Obviously, everyone's here, we all care so like a lot about being pro-Israel and supporting Israel and everything. But at the end of the day, as Brooke said, we're still college students and we want somewhere safe, somewhere comfortable, somewhere we feel happy going back to go to bed, to do our homework when we go back to our dorms. And I think there are obviously exceptions, but I think the Brown student body as a whole has done a good job of, when we really, really need to, setting it aside. I don't know if Brooke agrees with me about this, but people are not, I hope for the most part, harassing people in their rooms. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are being respectful, and like there's a time and a place for all this activism, and it's super, super, super important. But also it's important to have a safe space to go back to. And I think students have done a good job of that for the most part.
Awesome. There's a couple of folks who are asking the same question, which is when will or if the community will be able to read and have access to this brief that you're submitting to the committee?
Yeah, so we're hoping to have all of like the final big edits. I have a bunch to go through after this, done today. And then I have it like a Canva document started. We're gonna put it in like a nice PDF form that we can then like send out pretty easily to people. So once we have that done, we're gonna email it into ACRM and we can email it around the Hillel community as well. So it can be pretty accessible to everyone.
Fantastic. Yeah, I really think that not that the document needs to be leaked, but I think that the production of this piece is one of the great stories of Jewish leadership over the past couple of seasons. And I really do anticipate and expect that you all will suddenly become, kind of folks are going to be turning to you to say, how'd you do this? What was the process? How can we copy this? And how can we kind of go through a similar process with stakeholders on our own campus? So kol hakavod to both of you all. And, thank you again to the members, of our community who have served as mentors to students. And, a number of you have asked me, how can we help? And, I want to get to that here in just a moment. But I think that one of the great ways that the community of alumni and parents can be of greatest support to our students is to let us know what your expertise is in and to serve as mentors and as points of contact with regard to many of the challenges that we face, but also in many other ways as well. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and share screen one more time so that we can kind of, and then, well, I'll tell you what, before I do that, I'm going to get a couple of other questions that came in. So one of the questions that came in was about how are we preparing for October 7th and what's that going to look like? And so I'm happy to share just kind of a few points about this. And, if Molly, Mendel, others want to jump in with a little bit of vision, but you saw that the graphic that's produced for the opening of the year, it marks a 7:40 a.m. minyan and a 5 p.m. Commemoration vigil. But the fact is, Chabad and BRH have the entire main green reserved for the entirety of October 7th. And in fact, from our perspective, we would like to see developed a day's worth of different points of engagement and touch points for students to reflect, to mourn, to learn, to think, to rededicate themselves. And so we are exploring everything from opportunities for students to learn Torah together, opportunities for us to probably recite the names of all those who were lost on October 7th, the names of those who continue to be held hostage. We are looking into what I would kind of characterize as, opportunities to contend with the physical presence of hostages, the setting of the Shabbat table for those who remain hostage. And we think that students will continue to bring new ideas. And ultimately, we're going to be able to issue kind of a schedule of the day. It's not going to be 20 things, but it's going to be enough points that everyone can find the place where they kind of land, a place that's going to be meaningful to them. They're going to find a point of contact for, that allows them to engage with the meaning of the day in a way that's unique for them and what they need. I just saw the question come in. Are you expecting counter protesters on 10/7? I'll put it this way. It would be so hard on the soul of Jewish students and on the soul of the university if the Jewish community was prevented from grieving in a way that we need to grieve on this dark anniversary. And I want to believe that the higher angels of our community will come out that day. But in fact, we are, of course, in conversation with the administration to be talking and to be making plans to limit the possibilities of disruption and to ensure that, that students that might be driving in that direction have the opportunity to kind of interface with the administration and that we can kind of off-ramp them. Brooke, I saw you kind of say your hand. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I will also say we had another student book the quiet green. So there actually isn't anywhere for them to protest since we have everything booked. So they're actually not allowed to be there.
So the Brooke Verschleiser is bringing a certain level of chutzpah to Jewish leadership on this campus that is, really, I mean, it's, how many Jewish students are there here? 13, 14, 1,500. It's really like, if it was just Brooke, we would, we would probably be fine too. So yeah, thank you. And of course, I want to say, Brooke, we can put up as many guardrails as possible. We still have to prepare for challenges, and we are in conversation with our partners, both in student life, chaplain's office, et cetera, in preparation for the day. Mindful of time, and I know that so many of you have made a nice commitment. I was just checking other questions that come in. Before we break, I just want to get to the point that is asked us so much, and that's how can you help? And this is really Mendel and I we spoke before. Is that there are so many ways for this community of alumni and parents to be there for the Jewish students on campus today. And forgive me by beginning with the number one way that you all can help us and that we need support in order to attend to the surge in need amongst Jewish students on campus today is to help support Jewish life at Brown and RISD directly to Brown RISD Hillel, Chabad of College Hill. Last year was a watershed year in terms of the levels of support that we experienced. And the fact of the matter is we're preparing to do it all again. It might be more complicated, and we need everyone to step up in ways that are aspirational and inspirational for us. And tied to that, both Chabad of College Hill and Brown RISD Hillel are in the midst of a forward-leaning campaign to build Jewish life, to expand our physical footprints, to refurbish and, I would say, reignite the physical spaces here, and also to endow our programming, Shabbat, Israel, student leadership. And so we are both running comprehensive campaigns. We're doing it actually collaboratively together. And so for folks who might want to step up to help us on that slightly higher level, I hope that everyone will feel inspired to engage with us. Mika joined us a little while ago, my new colleague here, our coordinator for mentorship and professional networking. Mika is developing, along with some alumni in our BRH Alumni Engagement Committee, a model that is unique and new that we are piloting here, and that is a way of harnessing the kind of remarkable network of alumni and parents who are leaders in their fields across the board, from arts to science to finance. And if you are interested in serving as a mentor or helping network for Jewish students on campus, you'll continue to see opportunities to sign up and connect with Mika and to be kind of a part of this project as we onboard it this year. It's really exciting. I think it has huge potential. I think Brooke and Leah would both acknowledge, you heard it in their voices, even our Brooks and our Leahs have their eyes set on what is next and how they're going to move from College Hill to their next steps in their vocational journey, their professional journeys. And we really want that BRH and Chabad to be a really unique platform for that, for that growth. Lastly, I want to say the extent to which this community has spoken out on behalf of the Jewish student community with the administration has made a significant impact in our estimation. And we invite everyone, we encourage everyone to remain engaged and to continue speaking out, whether that is to the president, to other administrators, to faculty. Continue to add your voice to this conversation and continue to advocate on behalf of our students. James, I see you've got your hand up. Up. Try it again.
There we go. I didn't mean to break in, but I see both Noel Rubinton and Abby are on the video. Noel or Abby, I was wondering if you might just say a word or two about the celebration of 130 years of Jewish students at Brown. That'll take place next fall, because I think that's another way to get involved. And that's we are at this point, I think, looking for people to volunteer to be part of focus groups. Abby, Noel?
Thanks, James. That's my wife, Amy, to my right, who's a RISD person. So we're in the early stages of planning a really exciting program for November 7th through the 9th, 2025, which is going to be the first ever Brown Jewish alumni reunion, which is going to very much involve students and faculty and staff as well. And we're working on the program for that. We're working on the framework for that. And we really would encourage people, if you're interested in being involved in that, to be in touch with me or James or Abby to build that forward, because we really hope it's going to be a great expression of the community that will last for a long time. Thanks.
Thank you, Noel. And Abby, joining us from somewhere. You can unmute.
Hi, thank you, everybody. I'm in the car on my way back from Philadelphia, where I just moved my daughter in. So the only thing I'd add is we're going to be running a couple focus groups right after Labor Day weekend about the planning for the 130th, and I will make sure that we get info out to this group. So if you'd like to join and lend your opinions, then volunteer to help out, we'd love to have everyone.
And so this is for fall 2025.
Yes, November 7 to 9, 2025.
Great. So much more to come. I hope that will be an opportunity to celebrate and for folks to come together. This whole community can have a reunion together here in Providence for that event. Thanks, Noel and Abby. Thank you all both. The last thing I just wanted to say about how you can support us is, help us tell the story here. Help us tell the positive story. Help us tell the story about student leadership. Help us tell the story of student engagement. As Mendel said, the past 4 years, 3-4 years, have really seen the growth of Jewish life here in a way that is absolutely remarkable. And all of the challenges we face, we face them boldly, confidently. And so, whenever, if you're on our, by the way, if you're not on our email lists, please just send one of us a note and we'll make sure that you're getting our communications. But I really ask you, if I send a note that speaks to you, send it to your friends, send it to your network of alumni, share it with folks out there in the world. And we're going to try to do a really good job of keeping the community in the loop. One of the things that we have decided is to communicate even more than we usually do. And starting next week, we are hoping to begin to issue weekly Friday messages to the full community about our perspective on Jewish life here on campus, developments, etc., so that you can trust that there won't be a week that goes out that you don't have a touch point and a sense of the texture of campus. I know that you're going to be getting a lot of that from other sources, media, voices, and it's really important to us that you all hear directly from us, directly from students. And of course, we are available. Please be in touch with us. Email, send us a text message. If you are here on campus, please stop by to visit. And for those parents on the call, if you're planning on being with us for family weekend later in the semester, we're looking forward to it. I think the Jewish community does family weekend in an especially wonderful way. So thank you all. Thank you everyone for joining, for taking the time. And we look forward to being in touch again soon. And we are so grateful for all that you have done and will do on behalf of BRH, of Chabad, and of the students here. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.